Sunday to all of your beautiful faces, but it's even better waking up to pumpkin cheesecake. Please welcome Chef Jason Parsons. We're dealing with pumpkin.
Hello. Yeah.
We're going to start with the cheesecake.
Of course.
Because why not start with dessert first?
Well, it's kind of funny because I thought about, fall's coming and we're talking about pumpkin today and some tips of different parts of the meal. And then we were talking, it's like, let's totally start with dessert. I mean, that's the way it should be, right?
Especially when it's cheesecake. Now, we know pumpkin is actually really good for you, whether you're, it really is.
I know where you go with this.
It's really good. It's an amazing squash that you should incorporate into your diet or into your dessert. There's nothing wrong with some cheesecake.
Oh yeah, but when you take a beautiful pumpkin and make it into a cheesecake, I think the calories kind of go up a little bit.
A little bit.
And of course we might be adding a little bit of white chocolate to that, which just, anyway, we'll get to that.
Have I told you that I love you?
Oh yeah, that's right. I need to keep between you and the bowl of white
keep that
chocolate.
away from me.
But no, it's actually, cheesecake's pretty easy to make.
Okay.
And I think sometimes it gets a little intimidating.
I know it's easy to eat.
It is very easy to eat. Now the thing to remember though is cheesecake's very rich. So when you see the amounts of things that I'm putting in here, everybody's like, oh my gosh, but this is all the cream cheese that's going in there.
Yep.
But you don't eat the whole, well, you're not supposed to eat the whole pie or the whole cheesecake.
You eat a slice or two or five, but not the whole pie. So it's okay.
Yeah, that's it. And you can cut it down to small pieces. And what I like about this is the fact that you don't have to do it in a traditional pie. You can do it in a baking tray and do little pieces.
Yeah.
But the idea is first you need to soften up your cream cheese.
All right.
So let's get this on.
So regular cream cheese, I mean, whatever you're into.
Yeah, just a plain cream cheese.
Not a big deal.
I wouldn't really bother flavoring this up too much because you're going to get so much flavor from everything else.
Right.
So all that, so I've got sugar, cream cheese just working together.
Okay.
Here's the thing, a lot of people get so caught up with the base. The cracker, the crumb, what do I do? Well, I'm English, so I just took digestive biscuits.
Yes.
Put them in the blender or in the food processor, melted a little bit of butter, and then packed them in the bottom. And look at that.
That looks amazing.
It's great, it's flavorful, it's simple. If you want to throw a little spices in there, you can. But I just packed it in the bottom. And all I did was, I want to show you here, is I took my springform pan.
Yeah.
Laid some parchment over top. Right? Put this right over top of that. Close it up, and then just trim the edges.
So then it's going to be able to pop out a lot easier.
None of this going,
paper in there.
I hope it's coming out. And the thing is with these is when they pop, they release, and then the parchment, so you're gonna have pretty much a sure win.
Very cool.
Right?
So you could have done the good old-fashioned graham crackers as well, but whatever you do, you just want to pound it down so you got it into a fine.
A nice thick base, but the thing is, there's always something that kind of like a butter or something like that needs to firm up. So if you pop it in the fridge for a good 30 minutes or so, it makes it nice and firm. That way when you pour your mixture in, it's gonna be a nice even layer. So we've softened up the cream cheese here.
Okay.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add my eggs in just a little bit of time. Like, I got 3 eggs. Now, every recipe says add 1 egg at a time. I always feel like, you're pouring it, so 2 go in. It's not like you got to throw the thing out here,
Not the end of the world.
It just helps to kind of incorporate things a little bit better.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, I'm going to rush things up a little bit here, but it's nice to kind of work it in.
Right.
Otherwise, you will get a little bit of the cream cheese kind of showing. We want all the pumpkin, not the white chunks in there.
When it comes to baking, it's all about the timing, right?
It is. You got to be patient with baking.
You got to be patient.
So drop that like that, and then you drop your last egg in, and then we want to start with some little flavoring.
Okay.
Now, pumpkin is a little bit earthy, a little bit rich, so I add a little bit of lemon juice in there.
Nice.
Just makes it a little brighter, a little fresher.
Yeah.
A little salt to balance it out. People always think salt is sweet, but it does work, it needs it.
It brings out the flavor, right? That's why I always hear about salt.
Oh, and then I also have a little bit of vanilla bean that I've just I've stripped down the fresh bean, put that in there. But again, I always talk about this, is your extra beans, you can put them in sugar. So next time I make this, I wouldn't need to do that because I could just take my vanilla sugar. Saving on money, saving on, steps. Pumpkin puree though, you can roast your pumpkins down if you want, but there's great canned pumpkin out there. But the only thing is, make sure you don't get the sweet one. I know we're making a dessert, but I've just got plain pumpkin puree. I find someone's got a lot of brown sugar in it, a lot of maple. Yeah. It's kind of good for certain things. It's going to make this a little bit too sweet.
All right, because you're already going to be adding in your own sweet.
We want to control the sweetness. We don't want it to be told to us,
Okay.
So
you're cool with the canned pumpkin, huh?
I'm good with canned pumpkin.
I like that.
Well, I mean, if you've got the time, roast them off.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, for something like this, I think you're going to get a lot better flavor because, by the time you roast it, pass it down, puree it, it's just like a day step here.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to get that in there like that. And then we're just going to slowly mix those together.
All right.
And then the last is, and this is where everybody gets on my back a little bit, but
this stuff?
Just a little bit of sour cream.
Just a little bit. So we have about 16 cups of sour cream. No, just joking. How many cups are in there?
There's 2 cups, I think.
That's 2 cups?
Let's go with 2.
Let's
it's on
go
the
with
recipe.
2.
But the thing is, it just gives you that richness that you want. Cheesecake is rich. Come on.
Yes, it is.
You know?
So let's say you're a huge stickler and you're watching the calories or whatever. Go with the light, right?
Light, yeah, for sure.
Just go with light. Or I just say when you actually get the cake, just take a sliver. It's almost better to go high fat and eat less in the end.
Well, and the thing is, you can make these, like I said, you can pour this into, if you get a baking tray, thin layer, do a real thin layer of cheesecake, and then you just cut in little squares out. Then you could even put some sliced pumpkin on top or something.
Right.
It's not as rich, not as heavy.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'd like to mix this a little bit longer, but I don't want to waste up all our time here.
We're gonna do the television version.
You
do the right version at home. It's cityline.ca to get the recipe.
Well, you're gonna see. Yeah, there's gonna be a few little chunks.
Follow all those steps.
But the idea is that's it. You're done. Obviously, there wouldn't be any lumps, but you just pour that right on top like this.
Are lumps such a bad thing?
Well, not really. You got the lumps of cream cheese though. Who really wants a bit of lumps going through? You
I'm
know,
not sure if I mind that.
No, you don't mind that?
No, I don't mind
Well,
that.
see, the thing is, I don't want it to take away though, because you have this
Well,
nice...
you're a chef. I'm Tracy Moore, so I'm okay with the lumps.
Well, here's the best part though. If you've got all that nice orange cheesecake, well now, just before that goes in the oven, you take this melted white chocolate. And all I did was, pop this on the counter, or you can put it in the microwave.
Oh, so good.
Now, you put a good amount on top, and then when you're ready, you just take your spoon and start swirling it through.
Very nice. So you get that beautiful swirl going on.
And that's great. And then the trick to cooking these is to stick them in the oven, cook it for about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you've got to actually turn the oven off and let it sit for another 45 minutes, because when it won't be cooked, but look how great
That's how it's gonna look?
Isn't that amazing?
That's how the top looks?
That's awesome.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Slice that down, you can serve some white chocolate curls on top, some roasted pumpkin.
It's really
that
good.
Is a
now
good
my mouth
cheesecake.
is actually watering. Okay, cityline.ca for this incredible recipe. More coming up. Stay with us.